Welcome to the Real Estate Practice Podcast, the show that helps you know what to say when you're talking to buyers and sellers so that you can close more deals and earn more money. I'm Darren Tunstall, a real estate professional, coach, and #1 best-selling author. Let's get into this. As a reminder, the purpose of Scripts and Dialogues is to come, learn, practice, and be prepared to fail forward. This is where we make mistakes and help each other out, but we're mostly interested in seeing how we can get better. First, we read through the script word for word, and then we go back and put it into our own natural tone, style, and phrasing. You won't know what to say until you go through the script. So, with that said, many people will say, "That's not how I sound," and I totally get it. That's not how you sound. But that is the reason why we practice every day, so that the script becomes you and in your own voice. So read it word for word first, then go back and put it into your own natural tone, style, and phrasing, and I think it'll work out. Sorry, this is good stuff. Can't miss it.
Yes.
No, I'm happy to hear that because
Yes.
if anybody's going to get in your own way, it's going to be you and your own thoughts,
Yes. Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
happy to hear you saying
Yeah.
that they are helping, and
Yes.
that's the goal here. It's not to, the goal is not to come here and be perfect and show off,
Yes.
your
Yes.
ability and
Yeah.
your amazing way of
Exactly.
talking. It's to come here and fail
Yes.
forward. That's what
Yes.
it is.
And
Yeah.
increase your confidence, to increase your confidence on what you know and how to express it. Yes.
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 Confidence is key. That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
Confidence
Yes.
is like one of the biggest things that you can gain here. Everybody can, right?
Yes.
I mean, Barbara's been in the business for over 20 years, but I'm
I
sure,
know.
Barbara, every once in a while you get butterflies, right?
Oh yeah, like the other day when I met.
Yes.
Sasha, do you get butterflies?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You ask any comedian or somebody who goes on stage, before they perform, a singer, an actor, whoever they are, they all will tell you I get a butterflies before I go on, and it's like, it's freaky going on stage. Dan, do you get butterflies when you go on a listening presentation or a,
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever asked themselves, what am I doing? I'm not qualified to do this. Seriously.
Definitely.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Imposter syndrome all the time. Yep.
right. So I'm curious, how do you all get past that then? How do we get past the imposter syndrome?
Well, I just remind myself that I do know what I'm doing. I vision myself telling the person, that I know what I'm doing. And as a matter of fact, before I was in the business for a really long time, I used to say I've sold tons of homes. Now, tons can mean a lot of things. Could be the weight of the home.
Well,
I've sold tons of homes. I know what I'm doing. I don't say I know what I'm doing. I might know a little bit about it. I kind of make a joke. Like now I go and I say, I've been selling real estate for 21 years full time. I kind of know what I'm doing. I kind of make a joke out of it, kind of like, haha. It's like,
I love that. I love that. And you hit the nail on the head earlier. Through repetition, right? We create that confidence. But here's what repetition also does is if you tell yourself a lie or a truth long enough, you start to believe it. So if you tell yourself, I'm an imposter, what am I doing? I'm no good at this, too long, then eventually you'll start to believe yourself, and then that's when you start to get in your own way. But on the other hand, like what you did, I've sold tons of homes. I know what I'm doing. I got this.
yeah.
Right. And that's the key to showing up here every day. The repetition. You're going to build that confidence. You're going to know what to say,
Yeah.
as
Because when I was
often as you can.
when I was new, I was battling with what to say because I hadn't sold very many homes. So, I mean, and so I came up with the word tons because that's actually a true statement if you think about the weight of a home. I mean, tons, tons.
Does
I'm
that
not lying.
does that include the foundation and the wood? And that's awesome. I like that. No, that's, I mean, you found a way that made it work for you. So that's
Right.
good.
So that it
So,
would work in my mind, that
so Alan and everybody else, it's a natural feeling to go through that imposter syndrome. It's a natural to have butterflies every time you are on stage, right? And in your case, in front of someone talking, doing a presentation, whether it's for a buyer or a seller, these are all natural feelings. And at the end of the day, I like what Dan did last week. He just took action, went out and did it, and now you have some results, right?
That's
So
right.
that's awesome. What's up, Emily, Yuri, Dan? How y'all doing? We ready for today?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead and see what's on the agenda for today. It is Thursday. Awesome. We are going over negotiating a home sale, a conversation between real estate agents. In this scenario, you, as the seller's agent, are contacting the buyer's agent to discuss an offer received on a property listed for sale. The intention is to facilitate an exchange between you and the buyer's agent and to gather essential information about the offer price, buyer background, and earnest money, informing the seller's decision-making process regarding the property offer. For today, this is just a conversation that normally when someone wants to place an offer, right? We're the seller's agent, but normally when you have a buyer, you want to call that agent, right, and have a discussion. Simultaneously, this is the reverse of that. You as the listing agent, you're going to call the buyer's agent and you're going to say, "Hey, got your offer. What's going on? Tell me a little bit more about this." Right? So we're going to do that conversation today. We have two Dans here. That's not cool. We've got San Diego Dan and we got Boston Dan. Yeah.
Having two is wicked, wicked awesome.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, cool. Right on. So we have Sasha and Boston Dan, that are going to be conversing back and forth. So who wants to be the agent first?
I think Dan does.
All right. Dan, you're the agent first. That
Okay.
means, Sasha, you are the buyer's agent. This is an agent to
Okay.
agent conversation. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, Boston Dan, you just received an offer from Sasha, and you're going to call her and you're going to find out what the heck, what's going on here. Tell me about your offer when you're ready.
All right. Hey there. My name is Dan with Rise Realty. I'm calling because we received an offer from your buyer on the home listed at 123 Main Street. Do you have a couple minutes to discuss the offer?
Hey Dan, I appreciate you calling. Yeah, I have a couple of minutes to discuss the offer.
Okay, sounds good. So the offer is a bit lower than the listed price, and I was hoping we could discuss how you arrived at that price.
Yeah, we based our offer on a comparative market analysis of recent sales.
Okay. Were the comps you use from similar neighborhoods? There are different price points in different areas.
Right. No, I totally know that. And yes, we used comps from nearby neighborhoods with similar characteristics as the home you have listed.
Okay, great. That helps. That helps to provide some context. Can you tell me a bit about your buyer? Are they new to the area or do they have any specific needs?
So my buyer is relocating from out of state and they're looking for a family-friendly neighborhood with good schools. That's like the most important characteristic for them.
Okay, understood. How about the earnest money? How did your buyers decide on the amount to put down?
Um, my clients wanted to show their sincerity and commitment and feel the amount is appropriate given on their circumstances.
Okay, thanks for providing that information. I'll discuss this offer with my seller and get back to you with our response, whether we accept, counter, or reject. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds great. I look forward to hearing from you.
Awesome. Appreciate your cooperation. I'll be in touch soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thoughts, comments, Dan? How'd it go?
Good. Yeah. I think it's a solid script. Always good to, definitely discuss it with the buyer's agency, especially if it's lower, see
Mhm.
how they came up with that price, kind of put them on the spot, what comps did you run? Because, I ran comps too, and I feel like it's higher than what you're offering us, right? So yeah, I like this.
Yeah, later when we're finished and we bring everyone back, I have in that outline that I gave you all, we're gonna ask a question, which is if the offer is lower than expected, what could you ask that might open the door to a better counteroffer, maybe? And there's a series of questions that we can potentially go through to open that door, right? Um, there's another question in here. Um, how can you ask questions so that it doesn't feel like an interrogation, but
Mhm.
rather you're collaborating with them? Because there's some phrases in here where if you say it wrong with the wrong tone, be like, what?
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. Good job. Sasha, ready?
Okay, I am
All
ready.
right. When you are ready, go.
Hi there, Dan. My name is Sasha with Keller Williams, and I'm calling because we received an offer from your buyer on the home listed at 123 Main Street. Do you have a couple of minutes to discuss this offer?
Oh, hey, Sasha. Yep. Appreciate you giving me a call. I'm open to discussing the offer.
Great. Well, the offer is a bit lower than the listed price, and I was just hoping we could discuss how you arrived at that price.
Sure. Yep. So we based the offer on a comparative market analysis of the recent sales in the area.
Got it. And were the comps you used from similar neighborhoods? There's a lot of different price points in the different areas around here.
Yep. We pulled comps from the nearby neighborhoods with similar characteristics to this house.
Great. Okay, well, that helps provide some context. Can you tell me a little bit about your buyer? Are they new to the area? Do they have any specific needs?
Yep. So my clients are relocating from out of state and they are looking for a family-friendly neighborhood with good schools.
Understood. And how about earnest money? How did your buyers decide on the amount to put down?
So my clients love the house and they wanted to show their sincerity and commitment, and they feel the amount is appropriate given their circumstances.
Got it. Well, thank you for providing all that information. I'll discuss this offer with my seller and get back to you with our response, whether we accept, counter, or reject. Does that sound fair?
Yes, it does.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for your cooperation. I'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.
I have a question for both of you. Whether you accepted, countered, or rejected, would you actually go back and tell them, hey, we're gonna reject your offer and we're just gonna go with someone else?
If there's multiple offers and it's between like two or three, um, I'll let people, yeah, I do let people know like, hey, you know, this is why we didn't go with your offer, stronger terms, stronger price, just kind of not leave them in the dark and just kind of you know,
Like courtesy, I feel like a little
yeah.
with that situation.
Mm-hmm. Because then
Right.
it get,
So,
I always hate like going back to my buyer and say you didn't get your offer accepted, and their question is, well, why? And it's like,
Hmm.
well, I'm not sure. I never got a response. So,
Yeah, on the other end, it would be nice for the agent to like let you know with your buyer, hey, we accepted this offer. It was this much higher than yours or whatever. And that way you can tell your buyer, like, this is why we didn't get accepted.
mhm.
how do you respond when you get an offer and no one's ever contacted you?
When we get an offer and nobody's ever contacted us to
Like the
discuss the
buyer's
offer,
agent.
a
Yeah,
buyer's
like the
agent.
buyer agent.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's I don't know if I've run into that. We've received offers and we usually tell agents to like shoot us a text or call us to confirm receipt. And this one person never did, and it went into our spam folder. And so we never saw it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They- you know, that's another great reason, right? Why you should call your counterpart, right?
Mhm.
That's another, because we don't know sometimes where it lands. All
Right.
right, let's do this again. We're going to go back to Dan being the listing agent. On the top of the screen, you see that collapse all button just below the days.
Mm-hmm.
Just below Friday, there's a button that says collapse all. Go ahead and click it. And that will hide the dialogue, right? So no cheating. All right, we're going to start this conversation out. Put it in your own tone, style, and phrasing. And let's just say it is 48. We want to be done by about 46. So you'll
50,
both
56.
have 4 minutes each, okay? So let's go ahead, and I'll put a timer up but you can start now. Go ahead when you're ready.
Okay. All right. Hey, Sasha. Got your buyer's offer. Do you have a quick second to go over it?
Hey Dan, yeah, I have a few minutes. What's going on?
All right, sounds good. So appreciate you submitting the offer. It is a bit lower than what the sellers expected and actually what we're listed at. So I'm just curious, how did you come to this purchase price?
Well, we did a CMA of recent sales in the neighborhood and kind of compared the homes and found that, this was the price that was most comparable for.
Okay. Did you look at 125 Main Street by any chance? Is that part of your CMA?
That one was because that one was a home pretty comparable to the home that you have listed. We took ones with similar characteristics in the nearby neighborhoods.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to get a sense of if your buyer is serious or just kind of floating out an offer. Um and I'm just curious how you came to that to the earnest money deposits as well.
Yeah, this buyer is very serious. They really like the neighborhood. They're looking for something with good schools, kind of family-oriented neighborhood because they have a few kiddos. But they are very serious and they felt like their earnest money deposit, they wanted to show their sincerity with it. So they felt it was an appropriate amount.
Okay. And when would they be looking to close?
In the next, 2, 3 weeks.
2, 3 weeks. Okay. All right. Would they be open to extending a bit longer if it fits my seller's timeline?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they really love your house. So, they will do whatever it takes.
Okay. All right. Well, this is helpful. I'll go back to my seller and kind of explain everything to them based on your buyer's offer. Um, would it be fair if I get back to you whether we accept, reject, or counter?
Yeah, I would actually really appreciate that just so, I know what we need to do moving forward.
Okay. I mean, just off the bat, would your buyer be open to a counter or?
Potentially, I mean, I'd be open to hearing about it and, you could let us know.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Got a minute and a half left. That was only a 2.5 minute conversation.
Oh.
That's great. No, my point in saying that is how long do we actually need to talk to them about this,
Mhm.
right? What are we doing here?
Feeling them out and trying to
Mhm.
determine how they got to the price that they did.
Yeah, yeah.
See how
And
serious they are.
there you go. See how, anything else to add? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and reverse roles. All right, Sasha, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, whenever you want to start.
Hey Dan, this is Sasha with Keller Williams. I just wanted to give you a call and about discussing the offer. Do you have a couple minutes?
Oh, thanks for getting back to me, Sasha. Yes, yes, I do.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that the offer is a bit lower than the listed price and the price that my sellers were expecting. I just wanted to know, how you got to that price.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. That is a fair question. So my buyer, they have been looking for a house for a while. They are seeing an increase in inventory on the market right now. And we did pull some comps, and just based on what's sold recently and the competition that's on the market right now, we feel that this is a fair and accurate price.
Okay, understood. And the comps that you said that you pulled, were those from, the surrounding neighborhood? Where were those out?
Yep, there were one was from a street over actually that recently sold, and we pulled a couple from one that was on the street that sold earlier in the year. So we feel that's still relevant. And just kind of going off of, again, what's sitting on the market. There's two houses sitting a couple streets over that's been on the market without any price adjustments. So that's how we came to this purchase price, to this offer price.
All right, well, thank you. That helps, provide some context. And about your buyer, are they new to the area? Have they been here for a while? What are they kind of looking for? Why this home?
Yep. So they're relocating from out of state. They love this house. They love the 3 bedrooms, the 2 bathrooms, the yard. Love the school systems, and it's close to friends of theirs. So they know the neighborhood just from visiting friends, and they love the style of the house. So they're pre-qualified and they're ready to go, and they're pretty flexible on their timeline in terms of closing. So. Yeah, that's they're serious buyers.
Got it. Understood. Well, thank you for that information. Just a couple more questions. How about the earnest money? How did they decide on how much to put down?
Yeah, so typically I advise my buyers to put down 5% of the purchase price. So that's how we came to this number. Kind of helps with the closing settlement document as well, as if, in terms of commissions, your brokerage will have our commissions held, and we'll just get paid out of these EMDs. So that's how we came to the earnest money deposit.
All right, Dan. Well, thanks for providing that information. I think that clears a few things up for me. I'll discuss the offer with my seller and get back to you, whether we accept, counter, or reject. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds good. Hopefully it's you call back with an acceptance, but yeah.
Alrighty, Dan. Well, thanks for your cooperation, and I'll be in touch soon. You have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Hey, Dan, Boston
Yeah.
Dan, that last question or statement that you just made,
Hopefully it's an acceptance.
yeah, how else can you rephrase that?
Um, how likely would it be? How likely would you accept it? Or what's the likelihood of you accepting it? Any other offers on the table that we're competing against?
Yeah, let me ask you a question. What's your goal as a buyer's agent with that offer?
You get it accepted.
It could
To
be
get
like, can't wait to
accepted.
hear from you when you accept it.
So what open-ended question can we ask?
What can I do to
Um,
get my offer accepted?
Yeah,
There we go.
exactly.
Oh, sorry, the timer just went off.
Yeah.
So
What was it?
okay, let's go back to the clock. Yeah. Break.
So-
You're back.
Break. Okay, yes.
So I go to the question, what are your sellers' needs? I mean, other than price, we can talk about price, but what else do the sellers want or need in this transaction? Do they need a fast escrow? Do they need extra time? Do they need rent back? What other things could make this attractive to them?
Yeah, that what else question. I love what else.
Mhm.
Yes.
What else can I do? Yeah, Boston Dan, what do you need to get this offer accepted? And then like Barbara is stating, after they tell you answer that question, what else? What else? Until they stop answering the question. Right? So I love the question. It was just rephrasing it so that she talks to you and tells you what she needs.
Right.
That was an awesome question. From a lender's perspective, Chuck, because I see you, Chuck. You try to sneak in there on us.
Tried to.
I'm curious to know, what could the agent have asked or said that would have made you, as the lender, more confident that this deal closes?
Buyer's agent, seller's agent.
You tell me.
I like the question Barbara had with, like, it seems like in San Diego for the last whatever, I try to have like a 17 to 20 day closing. So, I mean, I feel like that tells the seller's agent, do you want a quicker closing? You know, I've talked to the borrower's lender already. Lender seems to think he can get it done 17 to 20 days. Would that help us to win the deal? Because I feel like that's something that I have been doing quite a bit, is just trying to say like, hey, or I would be glad if you would like to talk to the lender, he'd be glad to talk to you.
Yeah. And that's a great question when we go back to the beginning of the conversation or the presentation. Hey, how long is this whole process going to take? Can you
Right.
just say, 30 days, 17 days? What do we do in that case?
30 is a lot safer, but if they've already, like a lot of the people that I've talked to, and also when they're out with you guys, they have already done the pre-approval. So they're basically out looking for a home, but they already know what they qualify for. So that's the nice thing, is being able to say, hey, our lender would love to talk to you and just, you know, tell you that these guys are a great borrower. You want 20-day close? That's great. I think it can be an advantage anyway. Hopefully it's an advantage.
So from an agent perspective, what should we do?
I
I'm
think
talking
just-
to the agent. I'm talking to agents now. Do we
Okay.
just say 30 days?
Well, usually I put in there typically 30 days if my buyer's capable of doing 30 days. But when I
Let's-
call them back, I always ask, what would the seller like? You could say something like, the buyer's flexible on closing date. I want to work with the seller. What are the seller's needs? When do they need to close? Do they need to close fast? Some sellers need to close longer. You know, they need a rent back of some sort, or they need different things. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very personalized, you know. And then I always ask, what else does the seller need to make this a win-win?
Let's switch gears here, and we have Ask the Broker, San Diego Dan. What should we think about that?
You know, a lot of these questions I think are going to be answered if you do the preliminary phone call. I mean, you should be doing these questions should be answered before you
Right,
write
before
the
you write the
offer.
offer. Mhm.
Right. So you're calling up and you're asking why. It's not just why, you know, there was this book came out, The Big Why. It's not why, it's what. Why is the seller selling? Why are they selling now? What's important to them about that? And just keep diving on into that, what's important, because that time frame becomes critical. There is no 30-day escrow. The escrow is the period that's negotiated between the buyers and sellers based upon how the lender can perform. You know, and it goes between the buyer and the lender first. Sorry, I'm getting a new roof, so they're in the middle of cutting. Um, the buyer and the lender are going to have that discussion. Their loan officer are going to have that discussion. Can we meet this time frame? And then we're going to negotiate that within the realm of what the seller wants to do. I remember my first 90-day escrow buyer. I was freaking out, and I talk about imposter syndrome. I'm like, we don't do 90-day escrows. Well, actually, escrows are about 45 days on average in San Diego County as a whole. And we went to a property in Santee, and the seller was there, which is why you never want your seller at the house. And the seller, when I was walking with the seller, she said, you know, I just want to let you know we might have a little problem because we really need 90 days. And I immediately put on my poker face. And I was like, I don't know. I have to see how that works out. I'll talk to my buyer about it and see what they think. And it ended up being the perfect house and the perfect situation. But we used that leverage in our negotiations because the seller felt like we were giving them something. So the minor things that my clients wanted, that's how we got it. But you have to have that conversation before you get into it. And the question I would ask the buyer's agent if I get a lowball offer is, are the buyers expecting a counteroffer? Right? Because I want to know what their expectations are. Disappointment only comes when expectations aren't met. If they're expecting their offer to get accepted because their cousin Tom in Kentucky told them, you know, the market's slow, so you should buy a house in San Diego, their expectations may not be realized. But I want to know if they're realistic and whether or not their agent has actually had that discussion with them, because sometimes the agent hasn't gone that far because they're afraid to ask the questions and get the answer that they don't want to hear. So that's kind of the perspective I look at it. If you do it proactively and you're having these conversations up front, nothing should surprise you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, love it. Thank you for sharing. That's Ask Broker the Dan. No,
I
great job.
actually start that conversation when I call to make the appointment to show the house, about what the sellers are needing.
As a buyer's agent?
Yeah,
Yeah. And in this case, we reverse the roles, right? We're the seller's agent
right,
contacting the people that have placed an offer.
right.
All right. So we are over time. It's about 9:03. I want to respect that. There are, in that document that I sent over, there are 3 questions that I have identified that I feel like are important in this dialogue. You can review them later on, but I'll just read them out loud. One is, how can you confirm whether the comps used are truly comparable without sounding confrontational? Number 2 is, how can you reframe or frame questions about earnest money so it doesn't feel like collaboration and not interrogation? And like in our session, we discussed there's a few lines in here that if you say them the wrong way, the wrong tone, the wrong phrasing, the wrong style, then you're going to come across as um, interrogating them or being condescending in some way. So be careful about that. And then the last question is, if the offer is lower than expected, what could you ask that might open the door to a better counter offer? So with that said, go ahead and review that. You all have the copy of that, and great job today, everyone.
Darren,
Awesome job.
can I leave you guys with one seed?
Yes.
Okay, at the very beginning, Darren talked multiple times about repetition. And one of the things I talk about all the time is consistency leads to credibility and credibility to trust. Your consistency of your words and actions makes it easier if you have these conversations so you avoid imposter syndrome. But it also gives you the faith in yourself that you know what you're talking about and you feel comfortable when those words come out. Once you get consistent, credibility shows up because people trust what you're telling them. And it's not until they trust you that they're going to work with you. So buyers are not liars. They're not telling you what you want to hear because they don't trust you yet. You have to develop a level of trust, and that only comes through consistency that leads to your credibility to them. So think about that. Repetition is the key. If you're not practicing here, you're practicing on your clients, and chances are you're losing clients.
All right, so that's the script. I hope that you found it useful. Just head over to realestatescriptspractice.com for more resources and downloads. This content is for educational purposes only and does not make any guarantees. We suggest you seek the help and or advice of your broker, coach, mentor, office manager, attorney, and or financial advisor. Brought to you by Darren Tunstall, a licensed real estate agent, DRE number 018534445. The intention is to provide you with valuable information, insights, and practical tools. Please note that all results may vary and participants are responsible for their own actions.